Welcome back to another episode of the Florida Dream Garage Build. This week's episode is a fun one for me because I got to learn how to fly a drone with my good friend David. We met up a couple times for some lessons, got in some practice, and I have to say I'm really enjoying this. I went ahead and purchased the DJI Mini 3, and so far it's been pretty easy to pick up. David told me that if you grew up playing video games, which I did, flying a drone would feel pretty natural, and he was right. Now, don't get me wrong, the maneuvering definitely takes some practice, but one of the best things about this drone is the presets. With just the push of a button, it can do these smooth cinematic moves and capture some pretty amazing shots. I'll be using it a lot to get more video updates of our build, so you'll be seeing plenty of aerial footage coming your way. Next up in this video, Eric and I are going to dive into insulation options for the house. Have you ever heard of open cell and closed cell spring foam insulation? Well, I hadn't until my broker and friend Rick Pitts introduced us to his builder friend David. Eric got the inside scoop from him on both options and we'll be sharing what we learned. So stick around. After this intro, we're rolling right into that conversation about spray foam versus blow-in insulation and what might be the best choice for our dream garage home build. We're at our rental property here, patiently waiting our new build to be ready up in Punta Gorda. Our beautiful RV garage home. Like and subscribe here at YouTube. And we wanted to talk about, because we went to dinner this evening and we're talking about insulation. And we've been discussing this for a couple days. What is open cell foam insulation and what is closed cell foam insulation? So excuse our dogs, we're outside. We love our pets. We have 3. This is Diego right here.
Diego!
Daisy's barking over there in the background, then Dixie's inside. But anyways, yeah. Eric actually had a phone call with the guy that knows about the open cell foam insulation, and we wanted to let you guys know a little bit about it as well.
Yeah, so I built a home in Clemson, South Carolina on Lake Hartwell, and I did use spray foam to insulate the home in the ceilings and then also in the exterior walls. So Diego's getting hot, Southwest Florida. So I'm a little familiar with it, but I didn't understand that there were two types of spray foam. So there's an open-end spray foam and then a closed, right? So for what my conversation with the contractor today that owns his own business, he does a lot of installation throughout all Southwest Florida. You're in timeout now.
Okay, we are going to start over again. The dogs are a little distracting, we want you to listen to this because this is some important information that we didn't know about. We just learned about this week and we think that you would be interested in. So let's start over. Eric had a conversation with a gentleman named David who actually uses this open cell spray foam, and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have knowledge of spray foam in attics and also exterior walls. I have a little experience just from having it in my lake house in Clemson, South Carolina on Lake Hartwell. I did the ceilings and also did the exterior of the home. My energy bills were super low because of that, because it's so insulating, right? Versus like an R30 or R38 blown in. So this time we want to do something a little different. We just sold our house in Southwest Cape Coral, Gulf Access. A beautiful home. We missed the home. It was so nice, but people paid us really good money for it. So we're moving forward now. But in that home, there was blown-in insulation. And our power bill for a 2,800 square foot home on the canal was running in the summer around about $300. In the winter, it ran around $180 or something like that. So, as you dig in deeper, you think about spray foam, how much can it really save you, right? There's a cost factor too, right? It's going to cost you a little bit more. But there are two different types of spray foam. So there's closed, which typically, from what my conversation with David went today, is they are utilizing that mostly up north, because what a closed spray foam does is you spray it in the ceilings and it completely seals the ceiling. So no leaks are going to penetrate through. You're not going to have any air movement at all. Whereas for a open, it's porous. So if you do have a leak on the ceiling, on the roof, you're actually going to be able to detect where that leak is coming from. And that was a major concern of mine, is I don't want to use spray foam, right, in our house, because what if it does leak? Now, we may have a metal roof. We'll probably never have an issue about leakage, right? But we may go to a tile, because we're going to, obviously the cost of tile versus metal, there is a difference there too. So we're just trying to share this with you guys to let you know this. There is savings there. So the open, you can detect a leak. Let's go over that again. You can detect a leak, but it is, and I thought this was interesting. It's an R20 rating, right? So what our contractor has now is an R38 blown in on top of the rafters, not in the ceiling. So what the gentleman explained to me today is, because it's blown in and it's porous and it's an open cell foam spray, that it'll keep the heat out. So like the heat will not penetrate through the roof and hit your rafters, therefore heating your whole house up, right?
Well, and he also said that it would seal air drafts. And what I'm thinking about when he's talking about sealing the roof more and air drafts is keeping more dust out of the house. Right?
So that's a good point. I would think it would do that, because wherever you build a house, it's not going to be airtight unless you seal it off, right? So one thing he did say, which was very interesting too, because we experienced when we went through Hurricane Ian, some of our eaves, not many, but some of our eaves did get positioned to where air was blown up into the attic, and I'm sure the air blew the blown in insulation around, right? He said with this, you're basically sealing the whole spot, and you don't use eaves. You do use a solid board, so you're actually securing and locking in that, so it's airtight. It's completely airtight. So we're at the point now where I think we're leaning more toward the open cell spray foam. But there again, guys, please help us out, because...
Well, why don't you let them know the cost difference? You haven't told them that.
Good, yeah, that's always very important, right? The cost, because I'm a penny pincher. So the cost difference is, if you have blown in insulation, is about $1.55.
Yeah.
It could be $1.70, it could be $2, right? But that's typically what it is. And with this, it's going to be around the $2.50 range. So $2.50 a square foot, blown in open cell spray foam.
$2.50 compared to $1.
$1.50.
$1.50.
So it's 100% markup, right? If you think about it, almost.
So we were also, when we went out to dinner tonight, we were talking about, are we going to maybe do both? Like maybe let's do the spray foam first and then have some blown in to add even extra, protection and,
It does sound good. But I personally do not want to spend money on the R38 and then also on the spray foam. So, but what in my mind, mentally, it would make maybe a little more sense if we waited 2 years. We wait 2 years, get the blown in insulation, and then once we think about it and we're like, oh, our power bills, we can cut $50 a month. If we stay in the house 4 or 5 years, it might pay for itself. Then we do the spray. So we're kind of up in air on what we're going to do with that.
We put this in ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT what they would recommend us doing first. The open cell spray foam insulation or the blow-in. And ChatGPT actually recommended doing the spray insulation first because it requires a clean space and let's see, it closes off the drafts, the air.
Well, and then also the work is going to be done. So if we do it afterward, we're moved in the house, they're going to have to go through the attic space, go through that little crawl in space, right? Go up in there, and it's going to be tight. If they do it before the house is finished, so like maybe the insulation and also the sheetrock is in, they can put their ladders anywhere in the house and just spray it. So it's a whole lot labor intensive if you do it afterwards compared to doing it before, I believe.
Yeah. So, we're still discussing it. We're going to talk with our project manager about it because he initially said, don't do it because we can't find a leak. But then we learned about this open cell spray foam. We want to talk with him, let him talk with David, and give him some more information that there are actually good options that you can detect a leak if you decide to go with a spray foam.
Yeah.
And, give us your comments. Have you had any spray foam in your house, open cell, closed cell? Have you ever heard the difference? Did you know there was a difference?
Yeah.
So leave your comments below. We're going to continue to try to bring you some more content this next week as we think about what we are thinking about for our build. And
and also just I was really closed-minded. I was open-minded on the spray foam until talking with our project manager and about the leakage thing. I'd heard the leakage thing before also. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound good. But a big shout out to Rick Pitts of Cell State, which is a good friend of ours. But he's the one that actually said, oh, we're having this conversation with him the other day. And he goes, wait a minute, let me call a builder friend of mine. He gets the builder friend on the phone and he just put it in 2 of his personal homes. So he explained the kind of concept of it. And then he gave us the person, David's name, to actually call and get more educated on it. So it's always good to ask people like, hey, can you help me out, right? Yes. We don't know it all.
Right. And if you're interested in getting a quote on your home to have some of this insulation, we'll be happy to share David's contact information with you. Just reach out to us. You can leave your comment and I can DM you later.
Adios.
Bye, guys.